Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. I am here to review a book, a Goosebumps book, another one, called How to Kill a Monster. This is one that I'm pretty mixed on. I really wanted to love it because I had heard that it was just dumb fun. Like, there was this one guy and he said that it was really like fun and they try to kill the monster all these different ways, and it's just like such a fun but cheesy kind of book. But then I read it and to my surprise it was really boring. I mean, this is one where it just completely went by me. Like, I was not into it at all. Even though I wanted to be. I thought this could be a good story. Just the title alone, How to Kill a Monster, that's a very fun title, and it's hard to believe that was never done before, and that was the first time that title was used. And just the fact that you have a Goosebumps book where they're not really asking, okay, how do we defeat the monster? They're asking, how do we kill the monster? I think that that's pretty fun all in itself, and in a lot of these Goosebumps books, a big complaint that I have is that they don't really push the boundaries. They play it safe a lot, and and sometimes they don't play it safe, but then other times, like this book, they just play it so safe that it kind of makes you want to throw up because it's such a waste of the story's potentials. And in this one especially, you have this very simple premise. You have these two kids, they go to stay with their grandparents in the middle of a Louisiana swamp, and then their grandparents leave and they have business to attend to. And then there's a room that they're not supposed to go into, and in that room there's a monster. And they let the monster out on accident, and then they have to kill it for some reason. So, I'm sorry. I wanted to love this book. I want to love every Goosebumps book. It's not like I come into them going like, yeah, I don't know if I'll like this one. I want to love them all. And I enjoy the act of reading them and reading unique stories. Every single story's different, and just the fun aspect of like, okay, what's this one gonna be? What's gonna happen in this one? How is this one gonna get resolved? Is there gonna be anything interesting in this one that sets it apart from the others? Unfortunately, this is one where there's really nothing to talk about. Like, it's just so boring. It's a snooze fest. It is just complete. I did not like this book at all. There were a couple of good things, though, I guess. I mean, the thing that reminded me of, though, was this book reminded me a lot of Resident Evil 7. The way that they go to this Louisiana house in the middle of the swamp, and you have this monster that you have to avoid in the house, and they're all alone. That reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil 7 is a lot better than this. Just picking out like one section of Resident Evil 7 is way better than anything in this. So basically it's just them trying to kill the monster over and over again. And one of the stupid things is the fact that the grandparents did not even bother to tell them directly, don't go into that room, there's a monster in there. Instead, they left them like these envelopes, and then they opened them up at these very convenient points in the plot. And then it's like, oh, wow, the note explains everything. Oh, maybe I should have read this note like a long time ago. Or maybe my fucking grandparents could have just told me instead of writing. I mean, what? They're kids. They're there. Like, why did they have to write them letters? They're right there. This isn't like some lost love that they have to, you have to send a letter to Antarctica to send a letter to fucking that one chick that you used to date. Like, no, these kids are right there. Like, just tell them yourselves, you fucking lazy asses. I mean, these grandparents, they kill me. These are probably, I gotta say, these are probably the stupidest grandparents. These are the stupidest adult figures in Goosebumps book history. I mean, what is the business that they have to attend to that is so important that they leave their kids home in a house with a monster? It doesn't even matter if the monster is in a room, trapped in a room or not. What if the monster claws through the door? They show on the cover of the book, they show the monster's got his paw on the door and he's opening up the door. And so, like, what's the deal here with these stupid old grandparents leaving these kids home to die? I mean, they had to fend for their lives. They had to figure out the different ways. Like, okay, let's try to kill them this way. Let's try to kill them this way. They had to fight while their grandparents are off, like, I don't know, doing some social security meeting or something. Like, what are they, discussing taxes with their accountant? Like, what was so important? What were they, going grocery shopping to buy more food to feed the monster? I mean, it's just, it blows my mind. The logic in this book, the stupid logic, it is mind-blowing how stupid this book is. It is just so stupid. Everything in it is just there to happen to service the plot, and the plot is boring trash. And then you get to the end, and you have this goofy, childish part where the kids, they poison a pie, and then they feed the pie to the monster, and they think it's dead, but it's not. And then it tells them that the whole time it could talk, number one. Number two, it's allergic to humans. I mean, just, God, why? Why, R.L. Stine? Why? And then that's not even the worst part. No, that's not the worst part. Even though that sucked too. Okay, the kids are like, okay, the monster's dead. You know what we should do? We should run away from home. We should go... I mean, guys, the people in this book are special. Okay, they're special types of people, if you know what I mean. And... and they have the bright idea of leaving the house after the monster's dead. There's no other monsters in the house except for, I don't know, maybe there was a burglar somewhere and he's gonna come out and get them, and then they'll be like, ooh, maybe we'll have to learn how to kill a burglar next. But then what happens is they leave home, and then they're just walking around the swamp. Like, they're just casually... These stupid-ass kids are so dumb that they're like, let's just leave home and, like, walk around the swamp and, like, I don't know, go somewhere to escape. Like, let's go to the city. Let's go to town. Oh, let's walk all the way home, states and states away, to our parents because we're so sad that there was a monster in the house that our grandparents left us a little note about. And then they're like, oh yeah, there was also a second letter, and let's read that letter. And they get the letter out, and it's like, dear children, there is also a ton of swamp monsters in the swamp. Don't go out into the swamp, you little dumb shits. And then the kids are surrounded by monsters, and the book ends. And it's like, well, these kids get what they deserve. At this point, like, what a couple of idiots. I mean, they just... Ugh. I don't have words to describe the way that I feel about this stupid book, this stupid story. It's too bad because it had potential. I kind of like the idea that maybe there's like a monster in this house and the kids have to learn how to kill it. They have to try to kill it in a variety of different ways. I did like the little twist that he was allergic to humans, which was kind of sad because it indicates, like, you know what, it would have been kind of like interesting to see them interact with the monster or maybe make friends with the monster or something. I don't know. But yeah, it really, really stupid book. And then also, well, are the monsters in the swamp also allergic to humans? Like, we don't know. There should be a sequel to this book, but it would really have to improve on the events of the first book. Like, there has to be a very good reason those shitty grandparents left their children alone. Uh, Not only that, but you think about all the times in Florida where alligators and shit get into houses. You think about how maybe the monsters from the swamp could have gotten into the house on accident. They got in there somehow to begin with because that's how the first monster got there. So the fact that the grandparents left their children home with monsters is just really embarrassing and kind of disturbing. Maybe there could be a twist that they were going to see an exterminator or something to try to get the monster out. Maybe they wanted to hire an exterminator to come over and get out the monster, but I don't know. I could probably come up with a sequel, a good sequel, but I don't know. Like, I just was not a fan of this book at all. I had to read the events, like, on Google just to remember what happened because it was so boring and uneventful to me. I would give this book a D minus. I mean, I guess I'd read it again if I was, like, desperate and I don't know, on the verge of wanting to jump out the window. Maybe I'd give a chance to this book again, this boring, awful book again. But other than that, ugh. So, anyways, I'm sorry I didn't like it as much as other people did. Because other people love this book. I mean, there's some people, they have it in, like, their top 10. And then there's other people who hated it, like me, unfortunately. So please like this video, comment, what did you think of the book? And then please subscribe to our channel if you would like to see more Goosebumps book reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.